Okay, checking the sound. What's going on, guys, gals, aliens, and degen freaks? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to Dano Crypto. On this channel, we show you guys how to make simple, effective, and easy moves in the cryptocurrency ecosystems. Now we're going try two on the live stream. At first, my camera was working, but my microphone wasn't working. So then we had to reset the whole computer. Then the microphone was working, and then the camera stopped working. So I was like, "Okay, come on, give me a break, computer." But I think we're good now. I think we're good. So if you were in the previous live stream, come back in this one, hit the like button. Let's get this one out into the search, into the algorithm, into the cryptoverse. But today, we just wanted to say welcome and happy Monday. We hope you had a good weekend and you were able to survive the volatility, because during these times, especially in the last 6 months, 3 to 6 months of a bull run, is where we have the most volatile times, where we have the most shakeouts, even little mini black swan events all in between those portions of getting to the peak price, which I still think we are going to be hitting this year of this cycle. But what's interesting and what we're trying to keep track of is that the cycle seem to be changing. They seem to be evolving the more liquidity comes into crypto. Before, it seemed that this industry, in terms of liquidity and volume, very, very small compared to traditional financial value in terms of market cap or revenue or whatever it may be. Specifically market cap, because we think of valuing like Tesla and Microsoft and Google. They're all above close to 2 trillion, 3 trillion just for one company. So then when you start to think about the value of the total cryptocurrency market cap and where we could be headed in the future, I start to get real bullish, and I start to think, oh, that is how some of these cycles can start to change and grow. And especially when we get more institutional money coming in and things start to look towards the direction of a lot of this liquidity coming on chain. And where's the liquidity coming from? Where I think they're going to start printing the money again. And this is what we're going to get into today. We're going to ask some questions on what it means to print more money, how the regulatory framework and also the economic framework of the United States is going to play out with injecting more money into the system. It might still cause inflation and make things more expensive, but what do we do? What do we do with that? Well, we think Bitcoin's the answer, but we still have to have some time to marinate through this cycle and see where the big money is flowing. Well, it seems like it's flowing into Bitcoin. Seems like it's going into cryptocurrency. So let's break down the charts, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for the beginning technical difficulties. I always hate when that happens, because then it kind of puts a kink in the algorithm. It's already bad enough, and then we have that happen. So it's like, man, when that happens, we end up trying, and then we'll have just one person come back in. But you know what? We'll give you a show. Even if there's one person or 0 people in here, we will still give you a amazing live stream. So Bitcoin is if you're looking at the 5-minute here, successfully did a pretty nice double bottom test pattern, looking like it's going to do like this W-shaped recovery back up to 106 to test 106. And what I meant by earlier, and when my mic was muted, I was talking about how Bitcoin has just been ranging in between these levels. As you can see here, it was just kind of ranging between 100,000, going up to 104, going back down, and also trying to range up into testing that 106. But then, and this was previous resistance too, this level of 106.4 was a previous resistance that we hit after hitting the all-time high. So it kind of makes sense that the market makers, exchange liquidity was really eyeing probably high shorts at this level, and I'm sure a lot of liquidations happen around in this medium portion, in between these levels to bring it back down here. And this is the shakeout. So you can see now it's just ranging back up to try and test. We have to watch 105.9 or 106 where we hit previous resistance here. So that could be a level to watch. And also, so at the 786, 106,000. But then you can see right above there, the next level that we could be hitting is 110,000. Now this is if we can get a nice breakup to the upside, break that previous all-time high resistance. And you can see this is where we hit that. This is the resistance that we just hit. So the next level that we're trying to test is just that previous all-time high. So we're not that far from it. And so in terms of Bitcoin, we're still looking really good. We're just like 3% away from the all-time highs for Bitcoin. Now, how much of a percentage away in terms of Ethereum are we from all-time highs? Well, we'll have to go into, we'll go to the weekly, and we'll look and see how much percentage we are away from the all-time high for Ethereum. I mean, we are 104%. That's a big difference. So as many times as Bitcoin has smashed through all-time highs, it is, I know, like, we've all been asking ourselves this question, like, how is it that Ethereum has not been able to break its all-time high from basically from 2021, 4 years ago, almost 4 years ago. I've been thinking the same thing. What is taking so long? Whilst, we see other projects picking up some steam and breaking and setting new all-time highs and getting a lot of attention, but we've tried to be as neutral as possible and just try and think, okay, maybe Ethereum is just kind of taking the pace of Bitcoin in terms of its adoption growth and the swings and the pain that you kind of have to hold through, because Bitcoin had its time too where people were calling for it to be dead and that it wasn't going to go anywhere. And then you can see here just on kind of a more, weekly long macro chart from even just 2012, first halving, and I'm just marking this like first halving, second halving, third, fourth halving. And it's had its times too where it's really tough to hold. It's not an easy hold. So Ethereum could just be going through one of those Bitcoin times where it's just kind of tough. But I think Ethereum still has a good bull case of hitting. I think of hitting about at least 8K. I mean, 8K would make sense. That's like a conservative bet, but I think if we're on the high side and Bitcoin is over $200,000, it could make sense that Ethereum could be at between 8 and 10K. But what we like to focus on are Ethereum could do that, and we'll get maybe let's see, from where we're at right now. Have to put it on one chart. Let's say we break all-time high. Let's say we break all-time high and we at least get to like 7K. Okay, we're going to get like 180% move to the upside potential, which, like we explained in one of our videos about the comparison of Ethereum possibly outperforming Bitcoin at a possible peak price of this particular cycle. Because if we go to 250,000, which I think is an average price call, that means that Ethereum still has a chance to, from now, outperform Bitcoin in terms of percentage volume or percentage return. And we've been doing that comparison as well with Solana and Sui, thinking like, okay, like what is the like escape velocity of Sui? Like, can Sui pull a type of Solana where it goes from $9-10, it can go as low as $9 to $10, but then eventually soar up into kind of, just price discovery territory, where we really don't know how much this thing can go up. It's in a nice channel, so I think the best case scenario right now would be that it just pulls at least $9. I think $9 is conservative, so 144% on that. So then that would be 144% up until, because if you're measuring here, this is kind of like a moon boy. I like the moon boy measurement. You go from each peak of the trend line and just kind of do one of these and just pull it over, and then that gives you at least, like, I think a realistic time frame and date point where you could potentially see the price go to. Obviously, it's not guaranteed. It's just, you can just kind of say, okay, well, from here to here was about the same distance from here to here. It's very, very close, very similar. So you can kind of actuate it that way and say, all right, if this thing keeps up the steam and keeps up momentum, then they can look very similar to this price run up in distance. And that would bring us to like a $13 SUI. So from where we're at right now, 300% move to the upside. And then we like comparing that to Solana because people call for $1,000 Solana this cycle. And that actually does line up pretty well with the TA that we've done on Solana, where $900 to $1,000 Solana seems feasible right now in the type of market landscape we're in. And we're getting that price point because it really is the depth of this kind of cup and breakout pattern. You can see a lot of retests here, but Solana has been very much, I think, heavily manipulated by exchanges, because it seems like, to me, every time you start to get some kind of some motion. Let me see. This was like where I was able to kind of see it the best was on this Jupiter. Look, you can see, like, look, 176, and then look at how quickly they range it right back down into this area. And it seems like this is what is the play, is just like, you can see how much they just ranged it up and down, up and down, up and down into a point where they brought it right back to previous support, which is right here at 161. So they basically brought it right down into that area. Actually, even a little lower. They brought it right there, right below that line. So that's what you kind of have to watch out for when you're trading Solana. You got to probably identify these key ranges where they're like, yeah, they're going to probably scoop up that liquidity up at the high top and then Let's see 184. If we went down the pipe here, 184 was probably probably a resistance level, or at least yeah, we got above it, but we weren't able to sustain it. Kind of looks like a choppy, I guess, like if this was a Y, I don't know, Wyckoff, because then it goes like this down, test these levels again, and then it comes back up to test, and then it shakes out. Very interesting. But so let me get back to the comparison of SUI and Solana, because it's like what if you're wanting the max returns and you want to hold something that's going to essentially, that's why people go and pivot, or they say, well, I'm going to hold this instead of this, because if I'm going to, but you just don't know. So that's why a lot of people are like, well, I'm just going to hold Solana, SUI, and Ethereum and try and get as much of those as possible, because if one of them, they might all do the same percentage, and then cool, then you're fine. And then there's also different opportunities for using your Solana or your SUI or your Ethereum if you want to stake it, or you want to go into DeFi, whatever it may be. But also that's I don't recommend that at all, to be honest. Like if my personal opinion is that it's very risky to divvy up all your crypto and DeFi to get yield and farm and all that stuff, because at a point where you're getting a percentage of yield, it could potential that you could lose it all from a staking contract exploit or some stupid thing that happens, and the platform goes down, and then maybe you get greedy enough that you staked the whole bag, like you just staked the whole thing, and then something happens, and then you just lost it all to try and gain like 12% or 20% yield. So for me, I'm like, there's already enough risk, like investing in whatever project you're in, whatever altcoin you're investing in, especially when it's altcoins. Bitcoin has proven itself that you can like hold that thing through the bear market. You can hold it pretty much through its existence. And if you've been DCAing, you'd probably be in profit. Altcoins is a completely different story. You got it. There's times where it's good to buy them, and there's times when to sell and potentially not, hold the entire bag through the destruction, But sometimes you have to believe so irrationally sometimes, and be just, because I would imagine you probably had to, in Bitcoin's early days, if you think about it, Bitcoin's early days, the OG Bitcoin people, you had to be kind of delusional. You had to be a little delusional to be like, yeah, I'm gonna hold this thing, and to ignore all the noise, ignore everything that some people were probably telling you. Wow, you're crazy. Like this internet money, Bitcoin. What are you talking about? Miners, like, yeah, people. I would imagine that you had to be kind of delusional and crazy to hold through all of these times, but it paid off very much so for the people that were able to stay strong and have conviction through all of those I guess you can call them, checkpoints, pitfalls. Definitely I think checkpoints is a good one. Like when you get to a checkpoint or a save point, you're like, oh my God, okay, let me get to the next level. And that's kind of how crypto is. Like you're getting through the battles, and then if you can get to a save point and get to a checkpoint, that's what we're doing right now. We're trying to get to these points, and then you have to, like, your character can't die off You know, your character can't die off here whilst, you know, we're still in the game and institutions are coming into the game. They're signing on. They're signing on to this MMO right now called crypto, and they're beefing up there, and they're beefing up. They're getting speed ran through. They're getting speed ran with high liquidity. So we have to catch up. That's been my signal, is like, okay, well then I just want to be all in on crypto, because if the institutions are speed running into this industry and getting max tier armor, then what the hell are we doing? So comparison with Solana to Sui, if we go to, let's say we go to like 875 a SOL, that's 438% move to the upside. And then compare that to Sui, which I think is fair to say that we could probably peak out at like $13 for Sui. Then that is 300% move to the upside. Or no, $14 would be 300% from where we're at now. So I think it's actually potential that this might play out. This is my prediction, that actually Solana outperforms everything. And we wouldn't be mad about it. We would just be still kicking ourselves for not scooping up Solana like at these just wicked lows during 2022, 2023. Because if that is the case, and we really do like break out hard from this pattern, because if you look, you can see on the weekly, this will make you get so bullish on Solana. Because if it's able to break up to 1, 2, 3, 4 different levels of getting up to all-time highs from this to recover from this, that shows very much strength. And also, we've made the point that there's 3 cryptos that have a CME futures that big institutions like to play with, and now Solana is part of that. So we got Bitcoin CME futures, ETH CME futures, and Solana. And Solana might be one of the first crypto of its kind ETF, similar to like how Ethereum has one, because Bitcoin and Ethereum are the only crypto, type ETFs that we're seeing institutions go into. And pretty soon we'll probably end up seeing, say, something like on this Far Side website where we see BTC, ETH, and Solana. Solana is very much showing its dominance, because even MetaMask is now going to be adding the Solana network as a functional onboard, off-ramp, on-ramp transactional network on MetaMask. I think I see that coming down the pipe, because I was looking at MetaMask's posts for, they were going to one of the conferences, I think. The Solana conference. They're like fit check for the Solana conference, and I think they're signaling that they're ready to finally kind of play ball and say, hey, we've been here because people give MetaMask like a bad, they give them a bad rap, and because there's some user interface kind of quirks and things like that about MetaMask that is still just a little compared to other wallets. But I think they're starting to up the game. They're starting to up the game. It is still the most secure wallet, and I'm curious to see how the Solana update will bring more adoption to MetaMask. And I've actually been liking the MetaMask. I don't know if you guys have tested out the MetaMask card, but I've been using the virtual MetaMask card using the USDC on Linnea and getting rewards back in USDC. And it's cool. Is anyone using that? Is anyone using a crypto card? And shout out to everyone who's here. I was trying to just focus, and I try and get some TA going. Who is in the chat? Let yourselves be known. We got kind of monkey wrenched this morning with our setup. We were ready to go, and our computer was not having it. But please say hello in the chat. Say what's up. And if you're in here, we got 8 people in here. So if you haven't hit the like button yet, that would help out tremendously. That is YouTube's currency. That is like, if YouTube had a meme coin or some type of crypto, it'd probably be called the like button. It'd be called like button. It would be called like and subscribe would be the name of it. All right, so I found this fascinating. People were giving Morad a hard time for like raiding TikTok and Instagram. So he recently has been going hard on the shorts, which is great because it really does actually help. I recently was, putting up more shorts and trying to clip and even just doing that very minimally, not going as hard as Morad is going. It helped me boost up about, a couple thousand views of my shorts. And I was like, oh, damn. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm wasting time. I need to go Morad level rating. And what's cool is that Morad, he's his top coin and his top holding is SPX 6900. Okay. So that's like, we all know this. We all know from the doxed wallets. I'm sure he's got other wallets too, but his main wallets, he's holding real strong with his picks, and one of them being his Harry Potter Obama Sonic 10 Inu. But his favorite is SPX 6900. So he raids super hard on that coin. But what's great about Morad is that he always signals to the most popular and strongest community coins that have a very loud community. So I think he's always paying respect to the ones that maybe he just personally likes himself, but then also what CT is kind of signaling as well. But people were giving him a hard time, saying that, where was the post? I want to find it real quick. Let's go back. I reposted it because I agreed. Yeah, someone said, the issue is Morad can't sell because his wallets are doxed. The second he sells one coin, it will sell off. So he has to work hard enough to get the market cap high enough to be able to pull out 8 figures without becoming the most hated person. It said he's in a lose-lose situation, unfortunately. He's a hero until he sells, but won't ever be a true hero until he sells. So this was right here. Ansem shilled Housecoin for a few weeks, slowly been dumping his bags and started distancing himself from the community. This was from Sniper. Morad's been relentlessly pushing SPX 6900 with raids, PowerPoint presentations, TikTok videos, only to get clowned by CT for being cringe. Yeah, someone called him cringe. And so then this person responded with that comment I read. And then so Sniper said, Morad isn't working this hard because his wallets got doxed. He's grinding because he genuinely believes in the long-term potential of every play he's backed, especially SPX 6900. He's always had a long-term mindset with his conviction plays and didn't sell even before the wallets went public. When they got doxed, it only made me rate him higher. The discrepancies, everything Zach XBT uncovered matched what he always told CT. We need more Morads to sanitize the space. But yeah, I wanted to give a shout out to Morad for rating the shorts. I love it because he's like, I love it. So I need to actually mimic the Morad style. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch all of the shorts that he's been doing. I'm gonna study them and go, okay, because they are performing well. It's good eye contact, hand motions. We're going to do it. But let me know if you've had any Morad shorts pop up into your feed. And if you think they're cringe or if it just gets you bullish, you're like, let's go. The meme super cycle. Emmanuel asked, Dano, you're American. Yes, I'm American. Can Trump really fire Jerome Powell? He can't directly. I don't think he can directly fire Jerome Powell, but because the Federal Reserve committee, and then there's the chair, which he's the main chair, but then there's I think 12 or 14 other sitting people in the committee, and they would all have to agree to probably unanimously to either switch the position, have him step down, or encourage him to step down. And then I think that's how it can happen. Because I was thinking about the same thing, and I asked ChatGPT or Grok, and I kind of went down the rabbit hole of if that can actually happen. And according to Jerome Powell, by the law, the president can't directly say, if Trump was yeah, I want him fired, they can't just be oh yeah, we're just going to do that. I think I would imagine the Federal Reserve, the banksters that they are, and the whole system that they have set up, that I'm sure in some fine print somewhere, they have themselves protected, and it's set up that way purposely, because if you have control of the money system, you're probably going to have a lot of different red button, fail safes, to where it gets closer and closer and closer to them figuring out the massive scheme that's happening, which they know. People in government obviously know, but I'm sure they have a bunch of different fail safes where, well, you can't actually do that because we're this and this. If you read here. Yeah, shout out to Morad. And yeah, and the thing is there's going to be coins. It's if anyone has a list of coins, my list of coins, all my coins are not guaranteed to be bangers. I might have one of my coins that's in my list do well. And that's the potential for all of you. No one is guaranteed all of your coins to be super successful. There's coins that we're going to mention that are not going to do well, that are going to underperform. There's going to be coins that we might mention that do amazing. And then it might be that you're even holding more of the coin that underperformed than the one that outperforms. But our job is to get somewhere in the middle in our portfolio where we can get as close to holding those coins. And I don't want to encourage anyone to be buying whatever I'm buying. I like to mention what I've been more interested in. So I really kind of like the micro cap crypto gaming coins that people not a lot of people they're kind of forgetting about. They kind of get faded. But I feel whenever we've been in even just micro runs of gaming coins, some of these have ran. One of them being there was the Vulcan Forged token, the PYR, the Vulcan Forged, Naka, even the old metaverse tokens like Sand and Decentraland. Things you wouldn't expect, but just a lot of the times I even mention just as simple as these protocols that are generating massive revenue, even Radium and Orca, any other kind of DEX token, Jupiter. Those could be super easy holds, and it's just what is generating yield, what's generating revenue. Solana's been one of the highest generating revenue to protocol DEX, chain right now. It's the top. Also with stablecoin liquidity, that's why, my prediction of Solana kind of outperforming everything is for that fact. I mean, the metrics in the on-chain data don't lie, and then you got to think it's been able to handle the transactions throughput recently without any outages, and the president of the United States launched his meme coin on Solana. So I don't know what else could signal that Solana is the pick and is the one that could do that type of multiples, where we can go to $1,000 or maybe even crush that, just from all of what I just mentioned, you know. Because if it's gonna hit $1,000, that's 565% around over 500. So then still buying Solana under $200 is a freaking steal, which I like those numbers. And for retail to think of what can I buy that's cheaper than Bitcoin. I mean, and then they're gonna go, well, what's cheaper than Ethereum? Here's this Solana that's in the top 5 in terms of market cap, crushing up to XRP. I mean, at what point is it going to be that Solana is just going to outpace XRP in all altcoins? I'm kind of convincing myself right now, live on stream, that I should be way more bullish on Solana. And it's funny when you start to talk about something more, and you're like, oh, wait a second, oh my gosh. All the, you know, I should have that animation with all the equations going, and I start to like really, we start to all think, whoa, hold on a second. It's like, do. All right, Emmanuel said, I love the short clips you drop from time to time. I bet you can give more out a run for his money. Let's go. Yeah, we just have to grind the shorts. I recently watched a Pokemon reseller talking about how he scaled his business, and the way that he did it was, it's not like it's, you know, he reinvented the wheel. He was just like, we just kind of grinded on like TikTok shorts, Instagram shorts, and they did like 10 or 15 a day, just, you know, explaining the product, you know, explaining the in the house process, and they just kind of went off the thesis, hey, if this, at least one of these, it will hit and go viral, and they'll have and they basically just with that funneled people through to the website to get the product. And God, we have to do the same thing. It's really, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just got to use the wheel. You know, what the wheel is, the ability to post content on these platforms for free, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There's no person telling you that you can't raid the freaking algorithm. So that's kind of what we have to do. And that's what we've been, you know, essentially doing with these live streams. It's kind of a way to potentially at a point where they decide to finally put my live stream or my channel in front of people in the search, then that's when escape velocity happens, my friends. But like I said, but it depends on you guys too, because you have to hit the like button. Because if you don't hit the like button, then it'll just keep us right where we are. So there's 10 people in here right now, 10 amazing people, and just hit the like button while you're in here. And make sure you go to danocrypto.com too. You guys will check this out. And then I got the link tree here. We have the crypto bubbles. This website works really well on the mobile too. So make sure you are checking this website out, because you can get the quick updates. Let's see, on the weekly, I like that Pulse X. Pulse X is starting to come up, so we're starting to get a little bit more faith, I guess you could say, in the Pulse chain ecosystem now that Richard Hart has beat the SEC. There's it seems like the ecosystem is getting a little bit more credit. Hex is coming up. Hex has actually been one of the most traded tokens according to MetaMask on the wallet. I was like, that was fascinating for me to see, is that Hex was one of the most mentioned and one of the most traded trending tokens right now. So what is happening here? Are we getting a resurgence? Is this going to be like the old days? We'll see. But in terms of the day, we did have a nice little dip on Bitcoin. Yeah. Moonman Alpha, what's going on, Moonman? Do I stream on Rumble? Yeah, I'm actually streaming to Rumble right now. Let's see. Yes, I'm streaming to Rumble. Let's go. Can I look up the? Usually I can click on that link and. So heard Rumble would be rewarding its users in Bitcoin. Yeah, whoa, that is giga bullish. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, right now, let's see. Let's check Rumble. Let's check Rumble. And let's see. Well, I like at least when I type in Dano Crypto on Rumble, I actually pop up. When you type in Dano Crypto on YouTube, it doesn't send anything. It just sends you to Nano Crypto and then sends you to Dan Crypto, which I think is part of the problem. Yeah. Oh, I think I have to go here. And then, okay, here's my, yeah, it's just like rumble.com/user/Dano Crypto. Pretty simple. But you can see here, I try and live stream every single time to Rumble as well. So maybe could potentially catch a, I don't know. That's what we do on YouTube. If you're live streaming, you're essentially throwing out a net. You're throwing out a net in the algorithm to see what you can catch. Got to catch the people doing the, swiping. They're swiping left or swiping right on your butt, All right, I guess right now, best thing that we can do is just try and stay as macro as we possibly can. Try it. It's like, as much as we, you want to trade less, accumulate. We're still in accumulation mode. I think we're in a great spot. We're still in a great spot. All right, let's go. All right, so Moonman Alpha just subscribed to Dano Crypto on Rumble. Let's see how fast it updates, because then it should say 5 followers. Awesome. And then also we do stream onto Twitch as well. And then Twitch is interesting. It's like I want to push viewage on Twitch more, but I got to figure it out. Says I have 47 followers, but we don't have 47 people tune in. It's usually just like one person. A lot of the times it's just a headband. or it's someone that's saying, "Hey, buy viewers," or it's, like a spam account or something. But that's another channel that we'd like to push. See if we can get more people in there. But it's it's a lot of gamers, but I think a lot of the gamers can translate well over to crypto. Especially if you're playing the crypto games on your stream and then kind of going back and forth. That's what I think this channel could eventually evolve into, is, try to test out more of the crypto games, crypto ecosystems, and then go into the charts and do a little hybrid blend of the two. But yeah, right now, Bitcoin just trying to test. I think it's just trying to test. It's literally 3% away from its all-time high. So this week is going to be pretty interesting. Like, will we just blast through the all-time high, or will we like just? I mean, it's potential that we could chop, and just it just takes a little longer to get there, but we'll still get there. But we could still just get chopped. So we want to make sure that if we're feeling the FOMO and we want to try and get into some kind of trade here at 104,000, and we think, we will break off through 109,000, and the fib level I think is at 120,000. So if you're pulling a fib from the high to the low, I think it's like 131,000. Yeah, Bitcoin could be hitting its escape velocity, but I don't know. Will they give it to us? Do you think they'll give it to us? It's all up to the exchanges and the big money. It's not. It's funny when we see CT going, who's selling Bitcoin? It's the exchanges. They're the ones who have the supply. It's the market makers and the exchanges that manipulate the price and are able to swing it like they do. It's not retail. Retail doesn't even own Bitcoin. You think retail owns Bitcoin? They don't even. They're more in the ETFs than actually owning actual Bitcoin. So. All right, so today, in terms of the stock market, we got MicroStrategy's up 2%. We got USDT dominance was going up about 1.9%. Interesting, that was going up. Monero is up 1.8%. Robinhood, 1.5%. Gold is up about 0.86. Gold hit that double top, broke down, and looks like it bounced off of some support here. Kind of have a support line, which means gold's doing kind of now gold is like ranging. Possible for gold to break down to a level of 2,900, whilst possible gold sell-off still going into Bitcoin. And remember, gold's been running for a while now, and I would imagine the people that are in gold don't want to miss the Bitcoin run. That looks so, and we've done this before. You put on the weekly chart and you look at Bitcoin like this, and the breakout potential of where we could be headed in terms of the measurement, depth of the cup, and all that stuff. $230,000. And then you look at what gold did. basically did that pattern, but over a longer macro period. Basically did that to the T. So we're just expecting Bitcoin to do the same breakout, and a lot of that same money that was able to make profits on gold over these years are now going to go into the next best performing asset against the dollar in the stock market. So we just want to make sure that we have at least some decent exposure into Bitcoin, and we'll have exposure into alts because we know we want to make sure we can, in portions of this run, outperform Bitcoin by multiples. And then we just have to know that there's going to be times where we might need to pull the trigger and pay ourselves so then we don't round trip. Smash up the like button for no round tripping. You hit the like button for no round tripping. If there's anything I can encourage us as a person blabbing my mouth on YouTube is to just do not round trip. Build the moon bags. Which building a moon bag is essentially, okay, like this is how much I've invested. And then at a point, can I take out my initial investment and still have money and skin in the game if it multiplies even further? Yes. But the point is you don't want to just take out your initials, because then you're just taking out what you invested. You need to take out your initial and 50%. Or 25%, whatever it is. Like if it's 25%, 50%, what are you designating is going to be what you pay yourself out of your initial investment, and then plus that. Because then you're in profit, and then whatever happens else with that sack, it's fine. It can go to zero. And you at least know, okay, I got out my initials plus 25 plus 50. And that can save you. For instance, when I first came in and did that with Cardano, I didn't know the scope of the market. I was a newbie and still make newbie mistakes. But I feel like I've at least gotten a little slightly better. But the Cardano one was wicked because a lot of Cardano holders got convinced that $3 was not even close to the top, and we were going to go to 5, and we're just going to keep going. So a lot of us held, and we ended up missing out on taking the max gains at when it hit close to $3. It was like max point was like $2.90 something cents. That it hit like 3 for a very short period. And then that was it. That was the chance. And so we were up a couple, thousands, and ended up waiting way too long, and then kind of started to figure it out. Like, oh crap, they ain't coming near that price ever again. and now you see how long it's taken for it to just cross the dollar mark. So when you don't build up that moon bag, it's tough. But then you could say that, and you'd still maybe, I took profits, and then maybe you would have been convinced I'm going to buy more at all the prices going down and down and down. And you buy the dip, and the dip keeps dipping. You're like, it's just retracing. It's just a little sell-off. Like, it's just retracing. And then you look at it and you're like, wait, can it please stop retracing? Like, look, imagine you sell up here, you made your moon bag, but then you think, okay, yeah, I'm gonna keep buying at $1.31. Nope. And then you buy back at 78 cents. And then it pumps up to $1. You're like, oh, okay, cool. I think I made a good choice. Nope. Dips again. 41%. And then, okay, you thought that, okay, max pain. Nope, still max pain coming for you. 24. Yes, oh my gosh, finally, we have someone in the Rumble chat. We got Moonman Alpha. See, this is the kind of people I like in the stream where they're like, I'm going to watch on YouTube, hit the like button. I'm going to go over on the Rumble chat and say hello on the Rumble chat. That's what we like to see. Let's go. Shout out to Moonman Alpha. Moonman Alpha, are you USA based? You deserve a reward for being the first ever person on Rumble to hit the chat. Okay, cool. Currently on the Restream chat, it's sending it to YouTube. And then I can also... Okay, so X is just read only for some reason. So they haven't incorporated the X chat to do that. So, but I can see the X chats. Like when the X chats come in. Oh, here's the messages I love, always from Twitch. It's never a real person. It's cheap views on Stream Boo. I'm like, no. But yeah, so this is the Cardano chart on the weekly is a good lesson of like when things get hot, just pay yourself, especially in the altcoins, because there's a potential that once it hits at peak, it's going to have a 100% drop to the downside, and then more multiples of 100% drops, because it says, you know, from here from $3 going down. Yeah, no, it's more than 90%, because if you bought at 20 whatever cents or whatever it is, and then it goes to $3, or you've been DCAing at whatever point, yeah, you're just down. Just it's more than 100%. So I guess the lesson could be that, okay, you take profits and build up your moon back at the top, and then you like chill. You don't go back in, and it's actually the same with trading. I've noticed that every time I've made profits on trades, and good profits and good entries and good trades, and then took them, and then I tried to go right back into the market either even the next day or the day after. Bad idea. It's usually you give the market some time to like react. Like it could, because most likely when you're up and you've just taken those profits in your trades, well, guess what? A bunch of other people are taking profits. What moves the charts? Buying and selling. It doesn't matter what it is. People are buying and selling. If there's more people selling than buying, then the chart goes down. The price goes down. If more people are buying than selling, then the price goes up. So it's pretty simple, and we kind of want to overcomplicate it, but it's just like that's just how it is. So if you're selling, you bet your butt a bunch of other people are selling at the same time, which means that the market's probably going to go down. So then you can either decide to, well, I'm going to short at this point, or I'm just going to wait and be patient, which is the biggest thing that you could learn in this landscape is patience. The patience level that you have to have and to resist breaking your rules, doing something stupid is the difference between you being successful and not. And a lot of it has to do with patience, conviction, and rules. If you don't set rules for yourself, the market will dictate your experience. And if you are going to let the market dictate your experience, and market makers and exchanges, well, guess what? They're the ones that are shaking your ass out. And they will shake you. And then they will control you. And then most likely you're going to get angry. You're going to get upset. You're going to try and you're going to have FOMO. All those things. But if you have rules, you have a plan, you set the strategy, you have these specific rules that are no negotiations, I'm doing this regardless, then I think we will be successful. It's the only way. It's the only way. Don't let anyone else convince you otherwise, to not have a plan or a strategy or a risk management breakdown for your own, for yourself, and for what maybe your edge is. Maybe you like NFTs. So you need to have a whole playbook of how you like to assess the NFT market. And if you have certain rules, and just set those rules and just and stress test them. And if they work, then you know you can go off that strategy. I've stress tested a few strategies where I've been able to be a little bit more patient, have a little bit more conviction, and through a period of time, see the potential. And then the moment where I know I've had this, and this is where I still have to learn, guys, and I'm just being transparent. I'm telling you this because this will help people come into this space, and they don't, and they can really understand how it is. It's not an easy game coming in here and thinking that I'm going to put money in and then just money comes out. It's not like that. If you really want to think about it, it's like a casino almost, where the house has control and the houses are the exchanges. The exchanges know what's happening behind the curtains and and are watching on the video screens where you're putting in all your orders. Why do you think your success rate is what it is? That's why you have to make a strategy to assess the reality that will never change, that the house always wins. But you get a chance to step in and out, and that's it. And then the moment you think you're a genius, the house wins. But what changes this? Your perception, you now have informed you now are informed. You now are informed, which before you were uninformed. So now you're informed of what the reality is, and then you can take that and use it to your advantage and your edge. Moonman Alpha said, holding it down from Ireland. Let's go. I think the Irish and the Americans, we have a good I think we have a good relationship, right? We have a good developing relationship. We like our Irishmen and women. Yeah, and I think if you think about it, the United States, we had a lot of Irish immigrants as well that kind of helped build the country, if I'm not mistaken. All right, so let's get on the topic of the money printer. The money printer here. All right, so I asked that. So explain why the Fed has to print more money to stabilize the economy. Okay. So the Federal Reserve doesn't always have to print more money, but they love doing it. Especially during COVID, they printed 60% of the money supply that's in it right now, which is crazy. So to stabilize the economy, but it may increase the money supply through monetary policy tools like lowering the interest rates, which I think it should be coming down the pipe here. And yeah, we were going to mention McGregor. Yeah. So what are your opinions on that, Moon Man? Like, what do you think about McGregor? Do you think he's a good choice for representing Ireland and kind of what, I guess, the issue? Because I guess the issues that he was talking about was a big one was the the borders and the immigration and stuff like that. That's obviously a very, controversial topic, especially in the countries that are these European countries. It's interesting. I don't know. Seems like he's very passionate and he wants to do something. He wants to do something, but we don't know enough to talk about it. That's why it's like, don't want to speak on something that I really don't know much about. I already do that enough with crypto. All right. Stimulate economic growth. So during recessions or slowdowns, demand for goods and services drops, leading to unemployment and reduced production. By increasing the money supply through quantitative easing or lowering rates, the Fed makes borrowing cheaper. So it just seems like this whole system it's all based on debt. Everything is based on debt. So nothing has actually been tied to anything besides just tying it to more debt. And then through us using our goods and services, or whatever our services are, and whatever your job, and then go out and produce things, it still is based off of the debt. So this is what's interesting about Bitcoin, is that it is actual energy being generated through the miners that are keeping the network alive. So it's a worldwide network, no different than what the internet and how systems are right now in terms of computer connectivity. But when you think of like high frequency worldwide network based on math, that could be something that has tangible value to it. And so this is really the whole secret, I guess, of Bitcoin, and why it has been going up over time, because hasn't the money supply just been also increasing over time? Because the only way that they can keep doing the debt, because it's not backed by anything. It's nothing in there. It's just keep issuing more debt to refinance the debt, to then issue more debt, and then we're going to tax the debt on the debt, tax debt. So it's an endless cycle of explosion and implosion that's hidden by arbitrary freaking numbers and percentages of CPI, PPI, blah, 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 blah. No, who cares? No, it doesn't matter. Are they printing more money and refinancing debt to keep the ball going down the damn court? Yes. What's been going up over time against this to fight it and to reveal that global liquidity is going into Bitcoin? It's Bitcoin. It's the chart. So really, at the end of the day, who gives a crap what the Fed says when they shuffle their papers? We know what's coming down the pipe. Yeah, so combat deflation. If prices fall too much, consumers and businesses may delay spending, expecting cheaper prices later, which can spiral into economic stagnation. Injecting money helps maintain mild inflation, encouraging spending and stabilizing prices. So what's the risk of printing more money besides the inflation? The debasement of the actual currency. So because you have inflation of goods and prices of services due to monetary inflation. So it's not by supply and demand, which is a natural part of inflation. Of, say, if something happens in a particular area of the world where there's coffee, and somehow the coffee supply gets hit, and all of a sudden coffee goes up very expensive because of some natural disaster or something like that, or just supply chains get disrupted because of who knows? I mean, it's anything. So that's like a type of regular inflation, but the way that we're inflating stuff is because of the money supply is increasing. So because the amount of money that has been injected, and we don't even have to have track of all of it, because think about all the trillions of dollars that's been slushed everywhere and hasn't even been accounted for, because apparently there's infinite money printer machines where there's a few computers, probably there's probably at least 100 computers or more in the government where they could probably just issue payments. And this is what Elon has said publicly. There's computers where they can just issue payments out of thin air, just digitally. Boop, boop, boop. And then there's the money. So that's wild. So then they got that. Then you got the just paper money, and then you got all the banks. It's insane. So what happens is that the actual value and the strength of the dollar is not. It's not actually a dollar. It's not actually a dollar. That means that the value of your dollar isn't really a dollar. So it's 30% less. So that means your dollar actually is only getting you a ratio of 3 of like a, I don't even know, it's like probably you're only getting about maybe 50%, so 50 cents on your dollar, 75 cents maybe. Just know, like, every dollar, just slash it in half. Just slash it about 25%. That's what it does. Yo, what's going on, David Ford? We got David Ford in the house. We got Emmanuel in the house. And yeah, that's what's so interesting too. Yeah, I mentioned that, David, is that half of all the US dollars in circulation was printed in the last 5 years. So during the quantitative easing of the Fed, where they did the whole money printer thing, and so like in the crisis, like here, 2008 financial crisis and COVID-19, banks and businesses faced liquidity shortages, and the Fed can provide money to ensure financial institution function. And that is where, during those times, they injected a lot of money into the system. And then this is what's interesting, is when they did that, it's really actually represented very, very strongly in gold. This is where gold had its time to shine in 2008, because look, right in 2008, during that time, that's where gold bottomed and basically showed that, wow, the dollar is not where you want to be. Like, you don't want to be holding dollars in savings accounts. You want to be like holding gold and other appreciating assets that are stronger than the dollar. And then it's same represented in the S&P 500 too. You go to 2008. I mean, God, any of these bought. Look, oh yeah, right there, right after the crash, the S&P bottomed. And if you were to have bought the S&P at the max fear in COVID, or sorry, not COVID, but because this was in March, 2000. This is 2009, right in the beginning of the year. So you have 2008 massive crash, and then right in the beginning of the year, you start to get a recover. Close to the beginning, yeah. So first quarter in March, and then it just from there, just imagine. And then peaks at $6,000, buying the S&P at $600, under $700. So what does that tell us? Well, I get we have to invest. Okay, well so the S&P and gold, we missed that. You know why? Because in 2008 you weren't thinking about investing. You were You were a teenager probably still. You were just getting out of high school. You're not thinking like, oh, let me build up an investment portfolio. Unless you have rich parents that were taught to invest, and then they encouraged you that yes, you need to focus on school, but also, son, you need to learn about money and finances, and you need to learn about how to use debt to your advantage. The conversation ain't happening with most teens coming right out of high school. Now it might be changing now. I think that is definitely changing, but back in our day, no. We're way too distracted. But here's our chance. Our chance is crypto. So that's the equivalent of getting what your parents were able to try and get in terms of what returns if they were investing in the S&P 500 or gold or whatever it may be during those times. That's how you have to think about it. Nothing, like you're not gonna get 500% in the freaking stock market right now. But Solana might do that for you. But just crypto in general is literally that's why do you think the money's flowing there? Why do you think the liquidity's flowing into crypto? All the while we're being convinced to sell our bags to the big boys. No thanks. Oh yeah, and not to mention that, most of the gold, apparently all the gold that's traded, like the gold market cap is false. It's all I think it's like a quarter or 50% of the gold's market cap is paper gold. And the rest of it is divvied up in different futures, gold futures, but actual physical spot gold market cap is probably a lot lower than what it is, which is currently at 17 trillion. So it's actually probably it's probably like 5 trillion is actual gold market cap, but then you don't even know. And Emmanuel said they can now make gold from lead and print money from thin air. I really wonder how gold bugs like Peter Schiff sleep at night. Well, he is taking donations in Bitcoin. And speaking of Bitcoin, I think we're testing some levels. We're ranging back up. 105,000. While dominance is going down, Bitcoin's going up, ETH dominance is going up, ETH BTC is going up. We could actually start to see a run right now. All signs are kind of looking bullish, so that's cool. We're getting a lunchtime pump. All right, real quick, we'll look at. I liked the. I have Trump's Truth Social up on my feed now at all times and refreshing, just in case something, it's like being in a signals group. But check this out. I didn't know she got paid that much. I mean, I know these people get paid a lot to show up and do either performances or promote during, campaign rallies and stuff like that during presidential elections and really hitting the campaign trail. But according to news reports, Beyonce was paid $11 million to walk onto a stage, quickly endorse Kamala, and then walk off to loud booing for never have performed. And so not even one song. So remember the Democrats, but they did have that one, I don't know, what's the Stallion or something? I don't know what her name is, but she was like twerking on stage. She's twerking for the Democrats. The Democrats and Kamala illegally paid her millions of dollars for doing nothing other than giving Kamala a full-throated endorsement. This is an illegal election scam at the highest level and is an illegal campaign contribution. Also, Bruce Springsteen, Oprah, Bono. Bono always trying to, has he saved the world yet? And perhaps many others have a lot of explaining to do. Especially Ben Stiller. I don't know. Now it annoys me because there's some Ben Stiller movies that I like, but then, and same like with Tom Hanks and a lot of these people, I'm like, they're all gross. I don't want to like their stuff anymore. Have you been feeling like that a little bit as well? I'm sure once a big portion of the Epstein list came out, you just had a gross taste in your mouth and you're like, well, I guess. And then you see what Jay-Z and Ellen and all those people, what they're potentially involved with. You're like, wow, I don't want to jigga any ever again. I don't want to bounce to any of your raps, please. I'd rather see you in jail. It's kind of how I feel about that. I'm like, man, all your heroes are dead? That's kind of how I feel about all that stuff when things come out. You're like, man, ugh. Ugh. No thanks. All right, shout out to all the people that have tuned in today, and also make sure you hit the like button on the way in and on the way out, and just check out the links in the description. Best way that you can support the live stream and the channel is by checking out the links in the description. It's the way that I can somehow turn on my money printer. And the way that my money printer can turn on is by you guys checking out these links in the description. 2 exchanges. I'm really narrowing it down now. It's like I've noticed, I get that it's the thing that you have all these affiliates and you have the affiliate exchanges and all these exchanges, and there's 17, 20 different exchanges you can choose from. At a point, I think people might actually just click on the links more if there was just one link, one or two links, 1 or 2 exchanges. Keep it simple. I've noticed that I had 7 links on here, none of them are being clicked besides one of them. Guess which one it was? OURBIT. Cool. Easy decision for me to make to which one I should promote now is OURBIT, because that's the one that people liked. So why am I going to keep promoting exchanges on my platform that no one's clicking the links but people are signing up with this one? It's kind of apparent. So I'm just gonna make a choice here that's I think that might be the direction to go, right? Am I crazy? But it just shows that, look, I mean, people have probably tested all those other ones and they liked OURBIT better. So that's signaling to me that if those people are liking it, then I guarantee that the new people coming in will also like it as well. So I need to help transition and facilitate that motion here. But yeah, shout out to OURBIT. They have their own meme token, different than what other exchange tokens are doing, but also they have a real nice clean DEX, so you can do on-chain DEX trading with Solana, ETH, and Binance Smart Chain. And you transfer it. It's just like, it works just like you would swapping in a wallet, but you're just doing it decentralized with your own with funds like either say Solana, ETH, or Binance Smart Chain. And then once you make profits, you can withdraw them out. You can send and receive. You can withdraw the profits into your actual OURBIT account on the other side. Switching it back over into the SEX, and it works really well. The levels are very respected in terms of orders. If you want to get like a tight limit order, really great at getting at scalping on here. And they have all your favorite coins. Like any coin that's your favorite coin, they most likely have it on here. A good spot spread as well. And I always like that they have the info on a coin. So like say, okay, what is this? Like what is this CAD coin or something? There's like these new coins on here. Well, let's see. Let's go to okay, so Moo. So okay, so what's Moo? And then you go to the info, and you can actually get the contract address right here. You can go to the official website, and you can get information on some of these coins right on the chart. And I didn't pull this up on on purpose, but Moo is actually looking pretty good. Moo is like the Bobo on Solana. But instead of a bear, it's a bull. Moo. Where were we at just recently? Not that long ago. Oh man, yeah, we were up there. Yeah, I think if we went into Moo on Solana, where is that at currently? Oh man, there's like, what is happening on this? Yeah, where's Moo at? Oh, this is, yeah, Dex is just like not working right now. You could maybe consider Moo a low cap gem on Solana. What do you guys think? You think this thing has the potential to come back? You think this thing could pick up some steam like the other Solana meme coins? Because it's crazy. You look at the meme section. You look at 24-hour trading volume, and the 24-hour trading volume you got. I mean, a lot of them are Solana coins, because you have the Trump token, you have Bonk, Fartcoin, Dog with Hat, right there. Those are 4 Solana coins. Oh, Pingu. Don't forget Pingu. And then the rest are, PopCap. And then when we go Turbo, Mog, Ape, SPX 6900, Brett, those are just call them ETH. Just call them ETH. They're paired in ETH, and also with Pepe Shib paired with ETH. Yo, what's going on? Shout out to people coming in to the live stream. Sharvesh, I don't know if I'm saying that right. RT, what's going on? We're coming to the end. Because we started at 11:30, and now we're coming towards the end. Yeah, not very much to talk about besides that we're trying to pump and test up to those levels again. We had a massive liquidity sweep over the weekend. Shouldn't be surprised that they would fake us out with a little bit of that volatility just to run it up again. So we just have to wait, and just, it's one of those. It's just one of those things. It's just one of those things. But currently, right now, if you're looking at the 5-minute, it's looking like it's really wanting to test up to the previous resistance. It's not looking too bad. Total cryptocurrency market cap is peaking up to try and test again into its all-time highs, which was it like? We were close to almost 4 trillion. Got to close to 4 trillion. We were like at 3.7. I think we could be eyeing this 4.8 trillion. Where's that liquidity coming from? I don't know. Strategic reserves. Retail really starts to come back in again. Oh, 100%. Yeah. No, I'll tell you guys right now, my trading, basically I just faked myself out again. You know, every time I try and like publicly say like I'm going to do something, or, oh, I'm going to turn 1,000 into this, and I try and do a trading challenge, I fucking get rocked, and I get rocked on myself. Just so then I can then come back to you guys and say, well, I successfully failed. Which I guess if you fail enough times and you keep trying, and you know, I don't know, is that the whole thing? You just eventually you'll figure it out and you'll win. But 2 different times I passed a prop evaluation test to trade with someone else's money, and then when I had the opportunity to, you know, take that and do something with it, I failed on that as well. So my trading, it's weird. It's like it was good, and it was good, and I was being like, I was taking proper risk management and being aggressive and a little bit more robotic, and then I feel like I just went fully backwards. Like I just went fully backwards, and then I started revenge trading, and then feeling like I'm missing out because there it's just you know, there's points where it's like, oh my gosh, like right when I either get liquidated or stopped out, and it hits a level, and then I walk away from the charts, it bounces off of the exact level where I either got liquidated or stopped out, and I'm like, oh, it's just like, so it's been kind of, to be honest, a little bit of a freaking nightmare trying to recover from my bad trading streak. It hasn't been that good. I'll just be honest. That's why guys, I don't have a trading group. I would hate to have you guys in a damn trading group and try and be like, you know, don't follow me. Shit, you try and find where I live. That's why I'm like, I'm just purely entertainment. I'm almost like lost porn. Look at how much Dano can really be on the opposite side of the freaking market. Yeah, so I'll just be fully honest with you guys. I either just have to like quit trading and just spot buy and just hope for the best, because I'm losing confidence in the trading. Just being honest. It's when you're on a losing streak, it's hard to want to feel like you're like, yeah, let me just keep losing. That's how I've been feeling in my brain. So like for instance, you know, I felt like I had a good grip on some of the trades in the charts here, like on Solana. Made a good Solana trade. Made like 100, 120, $100 in profit, and then what did the market do? It just ranged like really stupidly and brought it right back down into the levels that got me completely destroyed. Emmanuel, if you would just inversed me every single time, you probably would be a millionaire. But no, I got to give myself at least a little bit of credit. It's not like I'm wrong all the time. You know, I've actually, what frustrates me is that when I don't make trades on my mega calls that I end up doing in terms of like my TA, that's when I don't have a position open, and I don't trust myself enough. But then when I end up putting in my actual trade. It's on the worst possible spot. So, or it's just not aggressive enough, or it's just, it doesn't, it's ridiculous. It's like I'm chasing my own tail. It's like I'm chasing my own tail. And it's so annoying. I will say it really is. It is frustrating because I have been able to, when I've followed just somewhat of a strategy that I've been able to, do well. And I would guess I wouldn't consider myself a complete terrible trader, but I don't know. But I really do believe this. I really do believe this. I think the way that things go in crypto for you, whether it be trading or opportunities or having the intuition, acting on the intuition, like, or you getting lucky, luck is a big, people say, oh, it's not luck. I'm like, yeah, kind of a portion of it is. Your ass is pretty damn lucky out of the millions of coins that you could invest into to have something go up. A little bit of it is your luck and intuition and some TA. So, could be that a lot of the success that you could have is all based on how you actually are, like mentally, like, and how you are perceiving stuff either in your life, or just your attitude. My attitude has been very shaken in terms of being in crypto and having a channel and doing the stuff or investing because, guys, my expectations of what I thought it was going to be, not even close. And so, and I can accept where I've made like massive mistakes. I can accept it. But I think that if I were to be honest, either with how much money I have in crypto or the trade's going bad, whatever it may be, it's a direct correlation and representation of how I feel physically, like just in mentally as a person. How you are is going to directly reflect into how you make money in crypto. So if it's not working out in crypto, you might need to assess your damn self and say, oh, well, maybe I need to adjust some shit in my life and then probably it might work out a little better in crypto and maybe with a lot of other stuff in your life as well. I'm talking to myself really, but maybe this could relate to you. Maybe you have it all figured out by now. But if you don't, the drawing board is you. You just go back to the drawing board. You go back to you. You go, oh, you don't blame anyone else. You don't go, oh, it's the exchange's fault. Oh, it's the blah, blah, blah. Like you said, guys, the house is always going to win. The casino has always been rigged. They let you win. So then you get cocky. You go back in and they take it again. You have to learn how to ninja that. But I've tried to do my best and, to be transparent with you guys in that sense of the emotional, like, struggles that traders go through or people that are getting into crypto for the first time or, because I'll tell you what, it's a damn emotional roller coaster. That's for sure. You'll see people coming into the space that haven't even been here as long as you have, and they get lucky on some freaking Solana runner, and they make the amount in 1 week that you had struggled and grinded on to get to in like a year or 2 years. That'll make anyone pissed off. That'll make anyone go, what the am I doing? What am I doing wrong? That's what you'll ask yourself. And then that's what makes you go, what is happening here? And a big one too that I've noticed is that if you're not aligned with God and you're not kind of having an open conversation and actually talking to God, then you're also kind of fucked as well. Because then you think you can control everything, like you have all the answers, and yeah, you don't. If you feel like you've just been talking to yourself, like you've just been talking to yourself and your own voice and inside your own stupid head, I would suggest start talking to God and Jesus. I hope you get an answer back. Yeah, my hope is that you get an answer back. All right. Yeah, the soul trenches. Yeah, the soul trenches. But the thing is like you could get eaten up in the soul trenches. You know, it's like they want to make it look like you can just like turn one soul into, but the reality is you're going to probably lose that half a soul right off the rip. You might even almost lose it all. And then the only option you have is to keep going. But then most likely that one soul is going to turn to zero. Or it is a skill thing. You know, you can say, okay, well, if I can keep flipping and just keep going, I might use one soul to get it up to 5, and then I lost 2 soul on the 5. Now you're back at 2, but then you use the 1 soul. Then from the 1 soul, you gained 10 soul from that. So yeah, you could do the multipliers and keep going back and forth in and out, because that's the reality. It's probably like, you know, you probably had 9 bad trades, and then maybe potentially the 1 can supplement the loss of the 9 and then some if it's able to do so. Yeah, you might be left holding the bag in the soul trenches. Yeah, that's why they're called the trenches. The trenches are weighed down by people holding bags of dust. Oh, well, I really, guys, yeah, it's just been, I will say it really has been a little frustrating to be on a losing streak of trading. It really weighs on you. It's very, very stressful. Don't let anyone try and tell you otherwise. It's fucking stressful, especially when you can see money and then it's gone. It's just like, or you make it, or you vocally say yeah, there's a high chance if I do this, then it'll be, it'll be worth this. And you give people a false sense of hope. And then you have to tell them, yeah, sorry, I don't think that's happening anymore. And you're like, wow, I feel like a fucking loser. And it's stressful. It's freaking stressful, guys. The markets are unforgiving. They're unforgiving. They don't give a crap about your emotions. No, that's the thing. I don't need another vacation. I don't need to go anywhere. For instance, Bitcoin conference. Big waste of time for me because it's just I'm going to spend more money. It's just I can't do it. So that's the freaking reality is no conferences, no trips, no nothing. all the trips and all the things that I've done in the past, I should have just put it straight into the damn market to begin with. Because if my ass was going to try and trade and be a dumbass and end up with less crypto, then no connection or any opportunity is going to be more of an opportunity than me putting my money in my own stake into this freaking cryptocurrency, into the actual ecosystems. Because at the end of the day, liquidity in the market is the only freaking way. You're not going to make it by having just a couple $100 in the market, and especially with Bitcoin. So what do you have to do? You have to get money and put it in the market and freaking hold it until it turns into six figures, or at least. So the raw reality, you want me to give you the raw reality right now? If you want to turn your portfolio into six figures, that means everything has to do a base multiplier of between 5 to 10x. And you, right now, you need $30,000. You need $30,000 in crypto. Right now, between 10 projects, and you can have Bitcoin in there, but this is the raw reality. 10 projects, you need $30,000. And the market needs to do at least a 5x from here. Total cryptocurrency market cap. So if you don't have $30,000 in crypto right now, get to work, because that's the raw reality. You want six figures in crypto? You want to retire? You got to have money in the game. That's the reality. It's not, oh, if I have if I put 5K, will I be a million? No, you won't. You got to have $30,000 minimum. Do the math. And I'll just leave you with that. You need 30 grand and patience. There you go. There's your freaking TA. You need 30 grand and patience to wait for 6 months or longer. Longer than that, maybe. Maybe even, who freaking knows at this point. But right now, at this point, that's it. You want to make six figures? You want to be a millionaire? It's 30K or nothing. Because at the end of the day, 100K, you probably already spent 100K or more this year. Didn't even realize it. So 100K ain't shit. So start to get to work. Talking to myself too. All right, guys. Have a good day. See you later. I'll see you on the next live stream. Peace out.